Hi, I'm Manuela. Welcome back to my channel. It's dedicated towards creating narcissistic abuse awareness and more so from a biblical standpoint. And I'll also be discussing other general life issues. In life, there are some people whom you have a discussion with, and by the time all is said and done, you leave the place feeling confused. Well, today I'll be discussing gaslighting. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious manipulative tactics abusers use, and this is the major reason as to why you're going to find many people are checking into a mental institution. Gaslighting is a form of psychological and emotional abuse where the victim is manipulated into questioning their own perception, judgment, and sanity by sowing seeds of doubt. This usually happens in abusive situations. Gaslighting is covert in nature, and so you'll find that the abuser usually is the one who knows what is happening, while their target or victim is oblivious many a times. This was first brought to light by a guy called Bruce H. He wrote a book about it. Then his brother decided to make a play out of it in 1938. Then out of the 1938 play, it went on to be made a movie in 1944, and thereafter we've had several other types of gaslighting movies. As a behavior, it was first noted in the Clinic Behavior of Lancet in 1969, when a handful of cases rose where people were sent to a mental institution to make them look like they were ill. This behavior is seen majorly in romantic relationships or other interpersonal relationships, work relationships, friends, family. I'll take an example in Uganda here. We've been having a case running in the media for over 3 years. It's among 3 people. That is Pastor Teddy Bujingo and Susan, the news supply. Pastor Teddy was married to Bujingo. Over 25 years of marriage, 27 years of marriage, he decides to step out. He goes and starts living with this other lady called Susan. These people for a long time have been talking of having a wedding, and they go ahead and have a traditional ceremony. Here in Uganda, we have 3 types of marriages, and they carry out this traditional one, and they've been talking about it. They are on air. They get sued. He gets sued for polygamy because he's still legally married to Pastor Teddy, as in church. They get to the courts and he's like, no, we are not married. Both of them, because both were sued, they both say they are not married. That was outright gaslighting the entire country, and people laughed about it. These gaslighters have a pattern. In childhood, like I said, gaslighting, we are growing, children are growing. But when an adult is gaslighting, people, that is their nature, that is who they are. Gaslighters are manipulative, they are deceptive, these are pathological liars. Before all this, he started with the Bibles that have gotten Holy Ghost must be burnt because the Holy Spirit is not the ghost. Bibles were burnt. I mean, there was an outrage when it got out, and he denies it. But people who attend his church say they did. Down the road, he claims these wedding rings, the wedding rings are not biblical. Married people must not have them. Wait a minute. Shortly after the scandal of him having this other woman breaks out, you just get the trend. These people are not to be trusted, and he purports to be a pastor. He has a congregation, guys. Can you imagine a gaslighter, aka a manipulator, aka a liar, son of the devil, aka John chapter 8 verse 44. The father of all liars is the devil. He's on the pulpit preaching about the gospel, preaching about truth. And congregants, church, wake up. We are in the last days. We have wolves in sheep's clothing on the pulpit. Anyhow, let's go to the next one, the government. Street citizens, feeding them with false information, Many times they'll tell you as a security measure. Then you'll also find it in the political arena. Some of the tactics used in gaslighting actually appear positive, such as positive reinforcement or flattery, riddled with false hope, faith, superficial kindness, and mercy. Sometimes you'll find friends pranking each other. That is a form of gaslighting. However, the clinical setting, it always manipulative and dangerous, as it's intended to bring harm onto their victim. So it's not a prank per se. This is something serious. It's detrimental to one's health, because these narcissists are intentional and cognizant about what they are doing. When we get into the book of Genesis, we actually see gaslighting at play. The very first gaslighter we see is the serpent. God had already told man he could eat from all the trees in the garden except the one of the knowledge of good and evil. Now when the serpent approaches the woman who is close to this tree, the serpent tells her, did God really say you should not eat from any tree in the garden? She goes on to explain how God declined them not to eat of the fruit from that tree, and on top of that, even touching it brought about death. He sowed in her a seed of doubt. And I believe this conversation had been going back and forth, because gaslighting doesn't just happen in an instant. It doesn't happen in a day. It progresses. So the conversation between the woman and the serpent, and even Adam, it didn't happen in a day. This had already progressed. Adam had already sold out long time ago. That is a conversation for another day. Now in Genesis chapter 3 verse 4, the serpent tells her, you shall surely not die. He lied. And he confidently spoke. Always abusers lie. Lying is their way of life. They cannot not lie. They must lie. Gaslighting started from way before. We could have just gotten the term right now, but the whole operation started then, right in the garden. Some of the ways the gaslighters take us through, and this is the list is quite lengthy, and I want to share it because this tactic, it's one heinous tactic that sends many people into a mental institution. Usually at the beginning, it looks like it's a usual disagreement, and many times people who haven't encountered this type of abuse, they'll tend to be dismissive about it. But you people just disagreed. It was only minor. It leaves you feeling uneasy, because they'll do something, they'll make it appear like you did not understand what they meant at the beginning, but you know what they meant. However, they're telling you that's not what they meant. So you're like, okay, maybe I didn't get it right. I didn't understand it. We shall be going out at 5 p.m. So you organize yourself. 5 p.m. comes and you're like, come on, we should be going out around this time. And they go like, going when? And you're like, you told me you were taking me out at 5, and they're like, I didn't say that. And you're like, but you said it. You told me we're in such and such a place, and they are adamant they did not tell you. And you're like, but how did I think about it? How did I come up with it? How did I hear this conversation? I say this, you say that. So you're like, it happened, but maybe, and you're thinking, maybe I was thinking of many things and I just thought it. You put it aside. You just dismiss it. But it keeps tugging at you. You can't help shake that conversation off. You just can't shake it off. And as time goes on, because they are playing a lot of this, you start feeling like you're going crazy. When you're in the thick of it, you do not recognize what's happening at the beginning. I told you these people are intentional. For them, they know what they are doing. Two, they weaponize compassion. When they have been cornered, especially among people, this is in the midst of people, or when you're about to leave, they will start saying, how could you think that of me? I don't know why you always think I'm out to get you. I never do this intentionally, but you always think I'm out to get you. You think I don't love you, but I really love you. I love you so much. A narcissist is telling you that. It's like the devil saying, I love you. Please forgive me. And that's when they'll gaslight even the other people. The people now think the guy is such a good guy, or even the lady. 3, devil. These people will deny they will deny it happened. Then they'll counter it by accusing you of something else you did. And that something else you did is most times made up. It's not that you even did it. They'll accuse you of having maybe insulted their parents, yet you have even never thought about it. You can't even imagine going that direction. But what is it? They are deflecting. So in the end, you get caught up trying to defend yourself. In that instant, they have reversed their roles. Now they have become the victims while you're the offender. Still under denial, these people ignore facts. You can state these facts here of the events that happened, and they'll tell you it didn't happen. Let's say they hit you. And then when you're telling them how they hit you, they'll tell you, no, I didn't hit you. I came towards you, I was holding you, you were about to fall. And then you thought I hit you, but I did not hit you. And you're like, you hit me. And they're like, I don't know what's wrong with you. How can I honestly have hit you? They'll comfort you. They'll get angry at you. Then they'll quickly step in again to be apologetic. But when you even think about it, how could you think of that? It's not an apology. They're actually blaming you. How could you? But you think it's an apology. You can really think you're going crazy because they are undermining your feelings. They're invalidating whatever experience you're having with them. And it leaves you very unstable. 4, these people withhold information. They know what they have done. They know they did something wrong. When you're asking them about it, these people just say, I don't remember doing it. They may stonewall you. They may go silent treatment on you. They may even ghost you. They don't want to talk about it. They'll just dismiss. You don't make sense in your conversation. I don't have time to listen to you. They are stonewalling you just like that. And you can't have a discussion over what is hurting you. They trivialize the events. You may call them forth for having humiliated you in the presence of other people. And then they're like, come on, I was just joking. How could I embarrass you in front of people? I didn't do it. You just misunderstood me. Come on, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was nothing really. I don't know why you're trying to build a mountain out of a molehill. And that way they invalidate your feelings. Then you also start gaslighting yourself by invalidating your own feelings. At the heart of gaslighting is deception and lies. Even if you present them with truth, evidence, as in hardcore, their photos, their videos, they will tell you, 1, you photoshopped the photos. 2, you people concocted that video. It's not true. There's no way around with these people that you're having a conversation and you're coming to an understanding. They will deny. They will lie at whatever cost. And they are going to insist on their own truth with such conviction that you are going to question your own self. You'll even question whether you were there. You'll even question the very video that you yourself shot. You will question everything. Lying and distortion are their core cornerstone. These people are lying, but they are going to leave with the impression that you're the one who is lying and they are sincere. These people are going to smear campaign you. Gaslighters are always running a smear campaign behind your back. How you are the problem. They are doing everything they can. They are being good to you and you are being abusive. You are humiliating them. You are name calling them. Maybe even spit on them. You beat them. They have tried to talk to you and you're just a problematic person. So difficult to handle. In other words, they are recruiting flying monkeys and enablers. And this in turn leaves your behavior in question. The moment they meet you, you're getting this negative vibe from them, but you don't know why. You don't know them. But they know a whole lot about you. This is all meant to isolate you from them, such that they can control both sides. They love spreading gossip and rumors about the people they are maligning. This gives them an upper hand as they dominate. They can control the narrative. And many times they keep editing both sides. They'll come up and tell you how the other people hate you. Another thing, these people may not have had a conversation with them, but they'll just say these people hate you. While the other side have also taken a different edited version of the discussion you've had about them. Proverbs chapter 19 verse 9 tells us, a false witness will not go unpunished. He who breathes out lies will perish. But these people don't learn. They don't care. They are lawless in nature. 7. These people blame shift. They never take responsibility. Remember, they are perfect. The time they appear to be taking responsibility, there's a catch. Either you're about to leave them, or they want to portray themselves as understanding, especially if there's an audience. So tomorrow someone will say, but at last time he took responsibility, so you cannot claim he doesn't take responsibility. After Adam had eaten the fruit and they fell, God had given them the consequences of their actions. Their serpent didn't apologize or take responsibility. It is their nature. This assumes the man has beaten you up. After he has beaten you up, he'll start, you see what you made me do? You see what you made me do? If you hadn't talked to me like that, I wouldn't have hit you. If you hadn't shouted at me, if you had answered well, I wouldn't have hit you. They now shift. And then what happens? You start apologizing. You think about it and you're like, actually, the way I responded was also wrong. I'm sorry for what I did. And that way you literally see a shift. You who has been hurt, you're apologizing to the person who has hurt you. The gaslighter may practically go and throw away your items and later on claim that you're the one who asked them to throw them. And you're like, I would not have. They are very important items of mine. And they're like, no, you asked me to throw them. And they usually pick things that are vital to you. They know it. You've told them about it. Because it's another way for them to master you, to control you. Because now you're going to be so mad. 9, they can make you hate your gift. These people here can start criticizing you. Let's say you're at choir and they keep telling you, I prefer so-and-so's voice to yours. You need to hit the note like so-and-so. You're being too loud. Sometimes you're making noise instead of singing. They critique you so much. And when you talk about it, they'll tell you, you're being too sensitive. In the end, you just, let me stop singing. 10, positive reinforcement. These are people who are going to keep you going in the circle of abuse. They know you're about to leave. Then they'll take you on a trip. They'll buy you this fancy house, this car you've dreamt of having. They tell you all the sweet things you've always wanted to hear. You're the best mother. They can't imagine being without you. You've been their rock, and they can't think of any other person. And you think, wow, they've just gaslit you into their web of abuse again. They keep you off balance, as you cannot even point out the bad things they are doing to you. Because you're going to at least acknowledge the good things they've done. It's a very insidious tactic. They will project. They take your good qualities and they throw their bad qualities at you. Much as it's a childhood defense mechanism, in adulthood, you are practically looking at a gaslighter. Among other things, I'm going to talk about 2 main reasons why these people gaslight you. 1, they want to keep you under control. When you lose your footing, you cannot think for yourself, so you start relying on them. Remember, they've already isolated you. Over time, you start isolating yourself from even friends and family. These people have gaslit you to the T. You are left in this place alone, and that is now how they are going to oppress you the more. Because gaslighting is about control. God created an autonomous person. He gave us that free will. So in the kingdom of God, we do not control. We coexist. We are interdependent of man. We are dependent on God. Narcissists want you to depend on them. And this gaslighting here brings about fear, because there's that uncertainty you get. And once you're uncertain, you are going to allow someone else to make decisions for you, and this is the narcissist. So they get in control of you. 2, this gaslighting is meant to keep you confused. You can't tell you're coming in and going out. Remember, you had a conversation, but the person is adamantly denying it. These people rewrite history. And in the end, you start thinking you're actually paranoid. And they tell you, you're paranoid. We didn't have that conversation. You're going crazy, I think. And if you stay there for long, you are surely going to go crazy. Because these people here will coerce you into believing their own alternate reality of what has happened. Gaslighting usually leaves a lot of mental damage to someone. Like I said, many people end up in a mental institution. Besides that, someone develops post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, or complex post-traumatic stress disorder. They get depressed, they are stressed, they are experiencing suicidal ideation, their self-esteem takes a nosedive. They no longer hold themselves with self-worth. They think everything is their fault. They learn to compartmentalize what they are going through. So they are going to choose the good in the abuser, and they only think about that, while the negative, they repress it. They keep excusing the poor behavior from the abuser. The victims tend to apologize a lot. They'll apologize for it raining. You got wet and they'll apologize that it rained on you. They become hypersensitive. You may not even be criticizing them, but they just think you're critiquing them because of the constant gaslighting. They just think everyone is out to get them and they are on the wrong. They become hypervigilant, expecting danger, wondering when the shoe will drop next, walking on eggshells. They second guess themselves. Am I sure I'm making the right decision? Even the simplest. May I please some water for drinking? The water is brought and they ask, can I drink it now? And you're thinking, what's wrong with this woman? What's wrong with this man? They have been mentally crippled. Do not laugh at them. Don't tell them they are crazy, because you're going to confirm the voice of the abuser that is in their head now. They have been so manipulated that they have lost touch with reality. Be very careful when you're dealing with victims of abuse. Ways to recover from all this. 1, recognize you have a problem. Someone is gaslighting you. Why is it that this is the only person I don't seem to get, but the others I get? 2, write down what you were like before and what you are now. 3, get the third party in. Those objective friends or family. They'll call a spade, not a small spoon. Explain to them situations you're going through. These people will help you make an informed decision. They'll actually help you see that you are being gaslit. 4, record conversations with these people. If someone constantly denies they have had a conversation about the different events in your life, record them. Journal also. Part of the recording, you journal. 5, avoid these people at all costs. Gaslighters are liars. 6, seek therapy. Complex PTSD, some people never recover from it. There were neural pathways which were reprogrammed in the process. It's almost like an addict. The only problem is that an addict, you can point out they are suffering from this. Gaslighting, you can't point out the source even. Therapists are those who really help you get to see these things. And now that we are sharing this information, you'll also get to see some of the signs and talk about it. The best way to play the game is never to play it with them. 8, set boundaries. Know when to kick butt and know when to sit butt. In this case, kick the butt and walk away. Listen to your gut. Your gut is always speaking the truth. Your gut protects you. What we call the intuition, the sixth sense. And you who is born again, it's just no longer your gut. The Holy Spirit is speaking to you. That small, still voice. You just feel uneasy. There are people you stand next to and your body is just not okay. Your gut is telling you this person is wrong, move away from them. Gaslighting is beside a host of maladaptive behaviors. John chapter 8 verse 44 says, you belong to your father the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of all lies. Gaslighters are liars. They'll gossip, they'll rumor monger. They are going to do each and every heinous thing that God says you should not do. What are you, a son or daughter of light, doing with a son or daughter of darkness in a relationship? God has said, do not be equally yoked with unbelievers. You are praying, fasting, and there is no change. The whole thing is reposition yourself. You are in the wrong environment. What has light got to do with darkness? How can two work together when they do not agree? Christians, please be mindful of gaslighters. They are out to get your souls. Thank you for watching. If you love my content, please like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. Blessings.